Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another narrated Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle. Today's battle is a sort of RU-NU mixed tier match that I had against an opponent by the name of D on my live stream on Twitch TV a few weeks back, and it turned out to be a lot of fun, so I hope you enjoy it as well. But if we take a look at both of our teams, I brought a Spiritomb, an Ariados, a Sharpedo, a Hitmonchan, a Flareon, and a Spinda, whereas my opponent brought a Rykard, a Serperior, an Electros, a Delphox, a Simipour, and a Druddigon. So we have a lot of variety in this battle, and I'm sure it'll be a really great one, so let's jump into it right now. So to start things off, I'm going to lead off with my Spiritomb, as my opponent decided to lead off with his Druddigon. Now, considering the fact that Druddigon leads typically like to set up Stealth Rock, first turn, I decide that I'm just going to go for the Will-O-Wisp, and I actually do play this correctly, and it looks like that exact situation happens, which is really great for me because I get to put a burn on a physically offensive Pokemon. Now there is the possibility of him being Rest Talk, but at this point in the battle I'm not really too worried about it, but I know he pretty much has to switch now because there's no way he's going to be doing too much damage to me, so I can take this opportunity to go for a Dark Pulse, which does a clean like 35-40% to the Simipour. However, once the Simipour comes in, he just decides to nasty plot in my face, which he can do very easily thanks to his Citrus Berry right here, so he's actually going to recover a bit of health back from the Dark Pulse, and then proceed to hit me with a super powerful Hydro Pump on the following turn. I go for a Shadow Sneak right there, and this actually turns out to be a really good play, because even though I don't kill it, on the following turn I make an amazing move, and I know that he wants to save his Simipour, so even though he's at a low range of health, I know he's going to switch out because Shadow Sneak is so obvious, so I just decided to go for Pain Split instead, which is going to give me a ton of health back. And the reason why he's switching to Druddigon right there was obviously because of the rough skin. If I went for Shadow Sneak, I would have actually lost my Spiritomb right there, so that was a really good play on his part, but I just happened to make a better prediction in that situation. And then, the Spiritomb continues to be a nuisance to my opponent's team by landing a flinch with the Dark Pulse. And is it normal for Spiritomb to outspeed Druddigon? Because that surprised me the entire match when this happened, because I assumed that Spiritomb would be slower. But anyways, he decides to bring in a Serperior right here, and because Serperiors like to put statuses on things, or Leech Seed, I decided to switch out because I don't want my Spiritomb to really take a status, and I decided to go out into my Flareon, which actually packs the Heal Bell in case that happens. This also is a favorable matchup for me as well, because I am a Fire type against his Grass type. He unfortunately though does have the Aqua Tail, which I was not expecting, but that is an amazing move to have on Serperior, and I forget about that all the time. So he's actually going to do almost like 80% to my Flareon right here as I go for a Wish, and this puts me in a really bad situation because I actually have to make sure Protect happens. Thankfully that turn I don't get paralyzed as he goes for the knockoff. But now that I see he goes for the knockoff, basically the best thing that I can do right now is switch into something that won't take it that terribly, because something is going to lose its item this turn, because that's just how that move works. And I decided that the best thing that I have to take this right now is going to be my Hitmonchan. I resist it due to my fighting typing. It still does like 30 points of damage though, which is crazy considering it's unstab, but that just, you know, how great knockoff is this gen, unfortunately. But it's going to give me the perfect opportunity to threaten it out with an Ice Punch. I know Serperior does have some pretty good defenses, but an Iron Fist Ice Punch is still really powerful and would threaten it out. So he switches into a Simipour as Death Fodder, and then he brings in his Rykard, and I'm thinking, what can Rykard do to Hitmonchan? I just go for the Mach Punch. It turns out he's Focus Sashed, and this basically shows you exactly what Rykard can do to Hitmonchan. He goes for the Play Rough. It doesn't quite take me out, but he also has the Sucker Punch right here, which is going to take me out on the following turn. So that surprise Focus Sash right there really did a number on my Hitmonchan, which is quite unfortunate because I love using that Pokemon, and it was really nice to have the priority on it. But I decided to take this opportunity to now bring in my Ariados right here and just basically set up a layer of Toxic Spikes. I figured that these are going to be incredibly helpful, and I just wanted to make sure that I got those up before, you know, this Ariados goes down. It's really not going to be doing too much damage to my opponent's team, and I also decided to now go for the Sticky Web right here, which is also going to make some of the slower things on my team a little bit more useful, because my opponent will actually have their speed lowered every time they switch in on a Pokemon that doesn't have the Levitate or Flying type ability, or Flying type, excuse me. But he's going to actually 2-hit KO my Ariados right here. Turns out he's a Leftovers variant of Electros, and this actually turns out to be really difficult to deal with, because Electros is currently the only Pokemon in the game that doesn't have any weaknesses right now, unless you count Mold Breaker, Earthquake. But either way, obviously Spiritomb and Sableye now having the Fairy weakness makes Electros really unique. but I really don't have anything to hit it really that hard that I want to bring in and also take a Thunderbolt at the same time. So this is kind of a really difficult situation for me, where I'm basically just kind of sacrificing things until I can get it down to a respectable range to where I'm going to be able to revenge kill it with something else on my team. So unfortunately, Spiritomb is actually going to go down right here, and this Electros is still sitting at about half health, which is again proving to be quite an issue. But at this point, I'm just like, alright, I have pretty good defense, or special defense, on my Flareon. It does take a bit of Stealth Rock damage. He goes for the Thunderbolt right here. I'm just going to go for a Lava Plume. This move, in my opinion, has the best animation in the game. I just think it looks awesome. But that does a good bit of damage. Unfortunately, I don't get a burn, but you know, you can't rely on that all the time. And it's going to put me at a range where I really do not want to be taking another Thunderbolt. Now, what I should have done here was go for the Protect to make sure that I could live the next one, because the first one did like 60 something points of damage, and I only had 60 right there, so I could have done that for a little bit more insurance, and then got off another attack maybe. But I'm just free to bring in my Sharpedo right now, because I'm definitely going to outspeed. Just go for the Dark Pulse. It's going to be doing a good bit of damage, and able to actually take out this Electros, which is, you know, a Pokemon that, as you saw, was being quite a bit of trouble for my team to handle. But he's going to bring in Rykard right here, and I know that he wants to go for the Sucker Punch. And I actually wasn't expecting what he actually goes for here. I haven't seen Fake Out on a Rykard in a really long time, but because I got the Toxic Spikes up, I'm just going to Protect right here, and he's going to die to the poison damage, which not only saves my Sharpedo from taking a good bit of damage, but also makes it so that I get another speed boost, which is pretty much going to guarantee that this is faster than everything on my opponent's team, especially because of the fact that I also set up the Sticky Web. So he's going to bring in Serperior here, and I really don't want anything else on my team to take a hit from this. This is a special variant of Sharpedo, so I do have the Ice Beam, and that does quite a bit of damage, which I was not expecting. Like, Sharpedo always does more damage than I think it's going to, and I hardly ever use it myself, so it was really cool to see it do, you know, like 70% to this Serperior. But this is going to give me a perfect opportunity to now bring in my Spinda, which is, I believe, my last Pokemon on my team. He's just going to go for the knockoff right here, which turns out to actually not be that amazing of a play. He probably should have just went for the Leaf Blade, but I'm just going to get up a sub right here, and even though he's not going to go down to the Poison on this turn, I have the Sucker Punch behind the sub, and that's going to be amazing because now I'm going to have a sub up against the last Pokemon on my opponent's side of the field, which, if you were keeping track, is his Delphox. Now, I do obviously still have the Sucker Punch, which is super effective, so that's amazing because now I'm going to be able to do a lot of damage to it on, you know, this turn right here. Unfortunately, it's not going to be able to take it out, but he does have the poison damage, and he basically has to attack me because I'm behind a sub, so there is no type of, like, you know, Will-O-Wisp or Wish shenanigans he could go for. He crits my sub, which totally mattered. Obviously it didn't. And now at this point, I think he only has attacking moves on this Delphox. I think I'm the only person that runs like the weird Will-O-Wisp one. So I'm just going to go for another Sucker Punch. Thankfully, you know, he does go for another move, and that's going to give me the victory in the battle with Spinda, you know, cleaning up at the end, which is really awesome. I mean, how many times do you ever get to see a Spinda, let alone see a Spinda actually do something? But anyways, everybody, that was it for this battle. I hope you enjoyed. It was a nice quick one. I think it was like 28 turns or something like that, if I remember from the battle recording. But yeah, I hope it was a lot of fun for you to watch. It was definitely a lot of fun to play out, so thank you, D, for the great battle. And as always, everybody, if you want to see some more battles or movesets or anything like that, feel free to subscribe to this channel. And if you want to, you know, follow me elsewhere, I have a Twitter, a Twitch, and a bunch of other things linked in the description below. So thanks, everybody, for watching, and as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.